Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences, raw conversation, one destination for it all. E360 TV.
Well, good morning. I'm so happy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. You got it. That's right. And I'm your host. Who? Say my name. That's right. Lauren Michaels Harris. So happy to be here. Again, I don't think I'd rather be anywhere else in the universe except maybe Fiji. I'm manifesting, y'all. It ain't got don't take it personally. I'm just manifesting. Fiji, and more Fiji. Have you been there? Have you? If you have, give me a rating between 1 and 10. Put it in the comments. Or if it's on your wish list, your bucket list, maybe we can go together. Who knows? I am so excited. Welcome to the 29th day of the month of April. We've got one more, and then we're into May. How are you all doing as far as being in alignment with your goals so far this year? January, February, March, April, May. So you got 2 more months in Q2. To catch up, surpass those goals or whatever it is you got going on. But whatever you do, if you want to get there, do me a favor and set some intentions. Will you please? Setting intentions is how we make everything a reality. Can I get an amen? So anyway, you know what that is? That's the Bell of Purpose. It's been here for a couple of years. The Bell of Purpose is our way of sending up a smoke signal, sending up a flare to let you know that something great is going on. Some content is out here floating around that you might want to pay attention to. So when the bell rings, that means take a look at what's going on, read the comments, listen up, lean in, maybe even do one better and share the broadcast out. When we bless people, we are going to be blessed in the same manner in which we do the blessing. So keep that in mind. Don't hold all this ooey chewy goodness to yourself. Give it away. Pay it forward. That's the bell of purpose. At this point of the show, because I don't want to end up in court, I got to bring in my sidekick. You know who she is. Here she is again. Welcome, Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, under contract. You were in the dishwasher last night. You're looking good, Lulu. And we are sipping on, we're still on that bitter tasting, but very medicinal, Jamaican me crazy, that I got for, what was it? Easter. It was in my Easter basket. Yum. Well, it's not really yum. It's really bitter. But hey, and I got a question. I keep getting it confused. You know, when you're in the coffee lane in the grocery store, how's it go? Is the light brew the strongest? Because you always think, well, the darker it is, the stronger it is, you know. But I think it's different. It's the opposite in coffee, right? Somebody let me know. Put it in the comments. Thank you. So off tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is a rerun, but the network has promised that they're going to pick one of the best episodes. So please tune in tomorrow. I'll be back live Monday morning after I return from DC, where tomorrow we start a photo shoot with celebrity photographer. What that girl name is? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. She's here. Virginia Rose Hodge is going to be there with her. Danny Echeverria from the show, Weekly Dose of Dana, will be with me as well. We'll be there for that. And then on Saturday, we're going to do the actual cover photo shoot and then go to an event with a bunch of the people that Dano and I have done work with through our digital content creation company, Electric Revival. We'll tell you more about that later in the broadcast. But anyway, a really good time. All the veterans there. We're going to be in Virginia at a base. A ton of veteran-owned businesses will be there. And we've done work with about 12 of the ones that will be in attendance. So we'll get to meet all those wonderful vets. Thank you for your service. And thank you mostly for your sacrifice. We'll see them all Saturday. So who's here today? The last live show of the month. I guess the best way, I'm going to give you a hint. Let's see. Okay, wait a minute. No, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna wait. I want him in here when I do that. Let me tell you a little bit about Guy. Guy, that's right, G-U-I. I went to school with a kid named Guy. And he had a nickname. He didn't like us to call him Guy. I like that name. You're only the second guy. Well, no, the second man named Guy. There you go. That I've ever met, Guy. Guy, I'm gonna try to say your last name. Brilando. Brilando, Brilando. Okay, no, that was Alejandro, Lady Gaga. Okay, getting it confused. Anyway, Guy is a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the echelon, let's just say that's really high up there, right? A Lieutenant Colonel, former F-16 fighter pilot. How exciting is that? A former captain with Southwest Airlines. That's right, my cousin Guy. I hope to get some free tickets. I'm kidding. Not really. In big part because of, he said, silly by design. Now he's going to tell you about that. It's a product. I heard about it for the first time this morning. But it was interesting, and we're going to get into that second half of the show, so hang around. He's an Amazon best-selling author with his book, which is what attracted him to me and me to him in the first place. Me to him. Him to me. Yeah, I guess that's right. Okay. Public school. Quit judging. Just saying. His book, Discovering Your Authentic Truth. Now, you know I love both of those words, authentic and truth. And that got me going, wow, okay, here we go. And read a little review on it and said, okay, I'm sold. Let's get him in here. Or try to. And he agreed. Thank goodness. C6 and founding member with Silly, and I think I'm saying it right, and dear friends with the owners. Okay, he knows the people who actually created this product. We're going to talk about that and more when we get him in here. So without further ado, quit playing, you guys. You know what we do. It's not that easy. A lot of these guests make it look easy, but nonetheless, let's put our hearts into it. Let's put some hearts on the screen as we welcome to this stage. Here he comes. Guy. Should I try it again? Brilando. Hello, Guy.
Hey, you did a good job on that last name. I'm impressed.
What is it? Say it.
Brilando.
Oh, so Brilando.
Yeah, it's Italiano.
Well, I just got to do this.
Nothing you could take can tear me away from my God.
Oh, wait, where's the backgrounds? I got it wrong.
Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck I do to my God.
My God.
Okay. I couldn't help it. No. Okay.
Never had that one for an intro before. That was good.
See, how many times have people referred that song to you?
Not much.
Really?
No, but that's good.
Now, see, if you were a black guy named Guy, he'd get it all the time.
He'd
It
get it
would
all
probably
the
be his
time, yeah.
theme music. You know what I mean? Every time you're walking into the restaurant, hit the music. How you
That's
doing?
right.
So happy you're here, Guy. What a bio. What an interesting journey you've been on. So, I mean, you've accomplished quite a few things. And what I find interesting is you keep reinventing yourself, which is a great thing.
It doesn't it?
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. I really like that mindset because I believe that mindset gets a bad rep. If you know what I'm saying. I did a little thing last year, somewhere on somebody's stage, about why do we call it midlife crisis when I would call it a midlife reboot. When you you know what I mean? When you just like they bring an old show back. You know, why does it have to be a bad thing to say, you know, I'm going to try something new? So if you would, before we dive in, why don't you say hello to everybody and just tell them where you're at in the world? I know, and it's a beautiful place. Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. He's going to tell you how you can get it too. Tell them where you're at. Tell us a little bit about the backstory.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I really appreciate being on, and hello to everybody that is watching this. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. You know, yesterday I was listening to a friend of mine who's also a hypnotherapist, and he does NLP work and stuff. And he was talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when you said that about reinventing yourself, I never really thought that about myself. But he was talking about Arnold, how he was a world-class bodybuilder. Then he becomes a blockbuster movie star. He struggled in the beginning, but he made it happen for himself. Yeah. And then he reinvents himself together again as a politician. So I was just like, when you said that, I just immediately went there. But yeah, my background, I grew up in Chicago area. I was actually a smaller town called Niles on the northwest suburbs.
No, I'm in Naperville.
Oh man, yeah.
You know what you need to do, your research, guy.
We're gonna definitely get together back in Chicago.
I'm busting you out, Guy. I'm busting you out.
I know. Well,
you guys,
we've been going back and forth with a few of these things. So
we were in the green room. He didn't even know the name of this show.
It's not true.
Well, you know, but don't feel bad. I'd rather you not know the name than to say Bathroom Moments. That happens all the time. And one guy in the first season, one guy actually, when we went live, he wasn't on the toilet, but he had the lid down and was sitting on the toilet in the bathroom. Because I thought I was supposed to be in here. Shaking my head. But it happens.
Oh my God. I love the name of this show, Bathrobe Moments. I think it's fantastic.
That's a lazy man show. I knew
I'm not in my bathrobe, but hey.
Right. Anything.
So I grew up in Chicago. My goal in life was to become an astrophysicist. But after 3 years of college, I realized I didn't have it upstairs to be able to make it through all the mathematics and everything. And I fell into flying. For people that are in the Chicago area, you may remember Wheeling Airport used to be called Palwaukee. And that's where I started flying, civilian. And really fell in love with it. And I transferred schools down to Daytona Beach. So I was in Daytona Beach for another 3 years of college. So like I said, it took me 6 years to get through college to figure out what I wanted to do in life.
Only 6?
Yeah, right. Only 6. And I fell in love with the military, the ROTC there, and I found my calling. And that's what led me into the military, where I had a great career. I went into pilot training out in Wichita Falls, Texas, to the elite pilot training course, which is called Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training. It's where NATO countries send their top prospects or their top students to their pilot training. And so I was in pilot training with people from the Netherlands, from Britain, from Italy, and one or two other countries in there too. And it was just a blast. We had German. We had a blast. And then from there, I got awarded an F-16. I went through F-16 training in MacDill back in Florida. From there, I went to Korea, where I spent a year and a half at Kunsan Air Base. I had an ejection during that time where I ejected out of the F-16, which is an interesting story in itself that I do talk about in the book as well.
What did you land in or on?
I'm sorry?
What did you land in or on?
Through trees.
Lucky it was some trees.
Yeah, it was real mountainous terrain. Went through the chute, kind of got hung up in the trees, but I actually ended up on the ground, so it was a good thing. It worked out.
Wow. So the plane literally crashed?
Oh yeah, the plane's destroyed.
How much was it worth?
About 26 million.
Oh my goodness. So oh my goodness. So,
Yeah.
well, I hope they had they probably had Geico insurance. I'm kidding.
Something like that. Yeah.
So,
They keep saying they're going to dock my pay.
well, before we get too far from that, because how many times am I going to have somebody sitting who says they ejected from a fighter plane? So, what happened?
We were doing there was a big war exercise going on in Korea. It's the largest one they have every year. It's called Fall Eagle. And where the Koreans playing in it, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army from the US is playing in it. Other countries are playing it. It's just a really big exercise. And we were doing what's called a low level. So we're flying at 500 feet above the ground, doing over about 550 miles an hour. And all of a sudden I just get thrown forward in the straps. I'm like, what the heck was that? And all of a sudden I'm slowing down. The rest of the guys are leaving me. And I start climbing away from the ground, and I'm trying to get my engine to restart, and it won't restart. And what had happened, the long story of it, was it took them an extra long period of time to figure out what happened. But basically there was a valve in the fuel system that closed and shut off the fuel flow to the engine. So there was no way it was going to restart.
So just because a person has the ability to eject doesn't stop that fight or flight or all those things that come rushing in, I would imagine, in what could turn into a near-death experience. Did anything happen? I know you have to, and we're going to talk about this too, about the mindset of a pilot, because my mentor always told me, he broke me from being ADHD. I have ADHD, right? But I used to be like, I would react, not respond very much. Didn't take much. He said, Lauren, you have to have the mindset of a pilot, where you're in charge of everybody on that plane. And when the chutes, the oxygen mask fall and people are running around screaming and whatever they're doing, if one person, there has to be one person who keeps his head, it's got to be, or he or she has to be the pilot. So it's a huge responsibility that all these lives are literally in the palm of your hand. So what happened when, what did you go through? Were you nervous about, of course you were nervous about ejecting because you can practice, but
actually I wasn't. So.
Oh, you weren't?
No. So this is a great question. I'll tell you what, you're one of the very few that has asked this kind of a question. I think this is just a brilliant way to go with this story.
Okay.
Because you're right. And one of the things I talk a lot about in my book is the difference between reacting and responding. And so, this all ties in together, and it's one of the ways that I tie this story together in the book too. But yes, because of the training, because you're so prepared, and because of the training, while all this was going on, I'm trying to get altitude, because if I do have to eject, you want to be as high as you can from the ground. You don't want to be right next to the ground if you can avoid it. And so all these things are going through my mind of what's going on with this airplane. How can I get it restarted? So that's where my mindset was. And once I peaked out at the top altitude, and then I started gliding back down, realizing that this plane was probably not going to start, and starting to go through that, oh my gosh, that shift that I'm actually going to have to jump out of this plane. There was never at any time was there panic. Never at any time was I quote unquote scared. It was all just going through the process, following the checklist items and all that training that had led me to that point. Now, I was a young pup at the time. I only had a couple hundred hours in the F-16. So, I end up, when I retired, I had over 3,600 hours. So I'm a very young lieutenant in this F-16 going down all by myself, because it's a single seat fighter. And when it got time, basically I start to see the terrain rising in the canopy, because I was in real mountainous terrain. It was about 60 miles northwest of Daegu. And I really realized I'm going to have to get out of this thing. And still at that point, Lauren, I was not nervous or scared or anything, even up to the time when I actually pull the ejection handle. I just was going through the motions. This is what is. This is the moment. We're talking about living in the moment, the moment of now. That is an experience of living in the moment. And you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're dealing with the moment right now. And I'll tell you what, it was almost, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it was almost a peaceful moment. It was a peaceful feeling, because you are so in tune with what's going on around you at that time. There is no outside distraction.
Wow. It makes perfect sense. And it makes me feel a lot more comfortable about who's up there running the show. on the plane I'm gonna be on tomorrow. So let me ask you this though: when you eject and you go one way and the plane goes the other, were you worried about where the plane may land?
Actually, yeah.
Were there people there?
Yeah. So I was in kind of desolate terrain. There wasn't a whole lot. There was no civilization around me.
Okay.
And when it first happened and I'm climbing away from the ground and I'm going, man, if I have to jump out of this thing. And I looked out in the distance and I saw a little farmer's field. And so I pointed the airplane in that direction, thinking that maybe there might be somebody there. But where the plane, when I actually came time to eject, I didn't have to worry about that because it was basically all forest and mountains underneath me. However, the plane, after I left it, the plane went and it clipped the one mountain peak. It spewed parts out all over the valley as it's flying into the next mountain peak. And then the engine flipped over onto that one. It started a fire that burned for over 3 days. It made national news. It made news back here in the States at the time. So there was a big deal over there in Korea.
So is it a long process, Guy, when that happens, that investigations and questionings and come in and tell us this and the other? Was it just like a whole bunch of ugh?
Yeah, so I got well, let me just share because your viewers may appreciate this part of the story. The most dramatic part of the whole ejection wasn't all the that what led up to it, but when I actually pulled the handle, nothing happened. And I'm like, whoa, right? And then I hear this slight pop, and I can slowly see the canopy fly away in front of me, very, very slowly. And then I'm actually ended up looking down. That's a whole part of the story you don't care about right now. But I see fire and smoke all over my feet. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, my feet are going to burn up.
Oh, Lord.
And then all of a sudden I get a kick in the pants. Now, all that happened from the time I pulled the handle till I got the kick in the pants was less than 1/10 of a second. But I can play it frame by frame by frame. And then as I'm going up the rail, I can remember going up the rail. My back was curved, which was really bad. So I straightened out my back, which was really bad. And then I clear the airplane, and then everything goes real time. So one of the things I do also talk about is what is time, because we are programmed into a 24-hour clock and not what time really is. So anyhow, it's just really fascinating. But the investigation went on for over 30 days. Normally, Air Force has got to clean it up within 30 days. They had to get an extension because they could not figure out what the heck went wrong. But they eventually did. And then, yeah, of course, I'm getting pulled in and asked question after question after question. But it was all good.
Wow.
I was cleared of any wrongdoing.
Of course. I mean, right. So Guy, so then you end up working eventually in commercial airline work.
Correct.
Southwest, correct?
Yep.
Southwest. So two questions about Southwest. First, why they stopped giving out those delicious peanuts?
Peanut allergies, and the company made a decision because of people coming on peanut allergies, and every once in a while a bag of peanuts would make its way out into the plane. Then the people with the peanut allergy would try to sue Southwest. So see, we're done with the peanuts.
I knew it. It's always one person got to mess it up for the rest of us. Okay, I
mean, people that are allergic to peanuts, it's a very serious thing.
It is.
So we were very cognizant of it. And we did our very best if we would get notified, but sometimes people didn't let people know. They didn't know the Southwest served peanuts, and they would get on the plane and these peanuts are all over the place and they would freak out. So,
oh my goodness. Well, I hope they don't ever stop serving alcohol. I'm just saying, because So the other thing is, how many years were you a commercial pilot?
13. So
13. Yeah. Can you tell us about that? Was there ever a time where, because when you're up there, I can't even I tried to peek once, they slammed the door real quick. What it must be like, because there's no streets or street signs or lines or, you got all that stuff there. But what does that, what are you thinking when you're up there? I mean, it's just like vastness.
Exactly. I think if you were to ask everybody's going to have their own interpretation, but if you ask pilots what they enjoy most about flying, I think one of those that would be common is the freedom, because you're leaving the world behind you and you're in a whole nother dimension, if you will, truly in a 3-dimensional world. And it's a sense of freedom. You don't have any restrictions. You don't have anyone holding you back. You don't have anyone telling you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. You're doing something that you love, and you are in the moment again. And whenever you're in and you know this, Lauren, whenever you're in the moment doing something that you enjoy, time passes.
It just,
knowing it, right?
It's like highway hypnosis. I don't remember making those turns. Have you ever done that? Driven somewhere, and then you go, wait a minute. Right. I'm notorious for it. Plus,
I will tell you, Lauren, and that's something, again, that I go in great detail with my book. That is how most of us go through our lives, because we are so unaware of what's going on during most of our conscious awakeness. It's really mind-boggling. We really start to understand the behaviors of people and how they behave. They're working from deep programming within their subconscious mind that was programmed back in there during their first 7 years of living. And that sets up the stage of how they're going to behave later on in life.
I believe that.
And a lot of us go through life completely unaware of how we're making decisions or why we are getting the results that we are.
Say that then. I second that emotion. So what about this one? When you first started flying and, were you a spiritual person or were you more scientific?
Scientific, definitely at that point.
Okay.
My walk with faith is another interesting journey, which
I know. We're going to touch on it because I had just had a feeling that you were more scientific going in and then something happened.
Very, yeah.
Talk about that if you would.
So I was raised Pentecostal, I think. I don't know. I was raised in a Christian. My mom is an atheist. My dad was agnostic, and we were basically going to church because that's what you just did back then, right? Mm-hmm. And through the years, I always believed in Jesus. I always felt like I had Jesus in my heart, but I didn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it. And I went through this phase during my college years where I was an atheist. I was an outspoken atheist that I didn't believe yet. I know it sounds strange, but I still had Jesus in my heart. It's a long story. Like I said, we don't have time for it. But over a period of time, I eventually met a lady that's no longer with us. Drugs and alcohol killed her.
Oh, no.
Very sad story. But I met a lady when I was at pilot training, and she really, truly led my heart back to Christ. And it was an amazing journey. I didn't realize it at the time. It took like 6 months. I didn't have that born again Christian moment, like the wow factor, but it was about a year-long process. And all of a sudden there was no doubt any longer, who my Lord and Savior was. So it's a very interesting journey.
So do you think that, I'm sure it is. I hope you touch on that in the book a little bit. Do you?
I do.
Okay, great. So what about this? So what's the difference up there from a scientific mindset and a believing mindset? The beauty of it, was it a different experience or was it just
No, it is different.
I would think it would have to be.
I never thought about that question before. I never thought about it in that way before, but you're right. When you're in a commercial airline, there's two pilots, right? You have the captain that sits on the left seat, you have the first officer on the right seat. And there's a lot of dead time. I mean, once you get up at altitude, the autopilot's pretty much flying the airplane. You're monitoring everything, making sure we're going in the right place, in the right direction, not going into any weather or something like that. I see you're getting ready for a break. But we get into a lot of deep conversations. And I can tell you, I'm a little bit of an empath, but I can tell almost immediately whether this person's a believer or not. And it's just interesting when you talk to a non-believer, their perspectives on life and just even what's going on in our job and flying the airplane. There is a difference. And I don't know if there's no way we'd have time to go into it. And I'd have to really try to think because I've never thought about that question before. You really got me thinking, Lauren. I love it.
That's a good one. Well, I'll give you something else to think about. Just FYI, heads up. As a pilot, those of us who are always in the passenger seats, well, I'm going to let you know 2 words we never want to hear come out of a pilot's mouth. Dead time. So, and you used it like that. So I was like, you know what I mean? I'm kidding. I know what you meant. Down, just like time where you're just sitting there going, blah, 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 right? When we return, I really am going to put the book back up on the screen, and I want to find out why you wrote it. Because then after you wrote it, you were on to the next thing, and we're going to get into that too. You got something there. Hold it up for us real quick. No, the other thing.
That.
Yeah, that. I want to hear about that. And you guys, just might want to hear about it too.
This is absolutely amazing.
That's what you were telling me. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that and find out why this very smart guy who keeps reinventing himself believes that this is one of the best things the world has ever seen. We'll find out. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, alrighty, welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. We're here today with a great guest, Guy Brilando, an author, an entrepreneur, a fighter pilot, a commercial pilot, a husband, a family man, a friend, all kinds of things. And when he comes back in here, we're going to get back into it. First, let me say thank you to both of my sponsors for today's show, starting with Jillian Sandoval and her rehabilitation program for women, drugs and alcohol. If you or someone you know is struggling with that, I know I did for 14 years. There is hope, and we want you to have some. So DM me or check out JillianSandoval.com. Also, my favorite, intentionpin.com. I have mine right here, handmade. I chose all the components, how I wanted it made, what I wanted engraved, and mine says through me, not from me, because I believe everything wonderful that I have for the world comes to me. I am just a whistle stop as it moves through me. Set your intentions and change your life, starting with your own. And if you like any of the digital work you see here on any of the Bathrobe Moment shows, everything is created through my company that I'm partnered with, Danny Echeverria, Electric Revival. Hi, everybody. See it? Digital content creation. If you need anything, get with us. We'll be happy to talk to you about how we can help you put your dream on the screen. Okay, so he's back. Hi, Guy. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was pretty awesome. I'll tell you what, that spiritual rehabilitation.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested in that. Again, my friend that lost her life to drugs and alcohol, I have dealt with people in those situations. It's awful. And congratulations on your success.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, you're right. It can be just like that. I'd say this, and then I'll wrap that up. I really believe, having come out of a 14-year addiction, that when you're in there, it is the second most powerful force in your life outside of unconditional love. So as long as you've got some love inside of anything that's in there with you or around you working, reach for it, hold on to it, and let love carry you through. I mean that. Take that one with you today. So, Guy, I want to talk about the book again, go a little bit deeper, and then we're going to get into this product, discovering your authentic truth. And then it didn't miss me that you use water, and the water's actually doing something. I know just from the few minutes we've been together that you spent a lot of time on this cover with this message. Tell us about what this cover means to you and why you chose it.
Yeah, I wanted something that was free flowing in movement. Again, we're always in movement. You're never truly stagnant. You're either growing or you're decaying, one or the other. And water just has that sense of life. I mean, we come from water within the womb. I've always been a water person myself, and it's that birth of life. And the whole theme of the book is falling back in love with yourself. And I just thought that the water theme was a big part of it. So the people that worked on it, what's really cool is that this water wave actually wraps around the binder, and then it goes all the way around into the back of the book. So it's a continuous flow throughout the front and back of the book. And I was so happy with how they came up with, I gave them the ideas, and then they started putting it together. And when they had that, I was like, man, it didn't take long at all. They hit the nail on the head.
So who were you writing the book for, Guy? When you said, you know what, I'm going to sit down and pour this out, who were you hoping to reach with it, and why?
People that are hurting, people that are,
that's a lot of
that are so lost, people that are stuck in really bad relationships, people that have tried or thinking about committing suicide, people that are addicted, people with addictions, excuse me. And then other people that are just kind of lost, like, what's my purpose here in life? And one of the reasons is because in the book, I give about 5 examples of people that I worked with, and that covers the people that I include in the book cover that spectrum. Okay. And so anybody that's got something like that going on is going to be able to relate to one of those stories that I do share in the book. And I really then, as I was writing the book, my intention, I wanted to get it into high schools because in high schools is when the kids are making their major life decisions. They don't realize it at the time, but they really are making life-changing, altering decisions, whatever they decide to do at that point in their life. And this book is written at a level that a teenager can easily grasp the concepts and start getting them to think differently, change their awareness, get them to wake up and go, you know what? I do have value. I am a very special person. I am unique. What can I do with my gifts? And how can I allow the world to hear my music from within?
I love that one. Music from within, the universal language, music.
Yep.
So, Guy, you have some friends who you've known, I think you said over 20 years, that are the founders, the creators of this product that you're itching to tell us about, and we're itching to hear about. Tell us about them and how this whole thing came about, and why is it 95% of your life right now?
Yes, and you're probably about right where it's at right now. Thank you very much for being able to share this with everybody, because what they created is something very unique to the world. Nobody else on the planet, no other company, pharmaceutical or natural company, is doing the delivery of nutritionals the way we are. We use a very proprietary, unique system that was created by 4 scientists with 9 PhDs collectively. I mean, some very, very smart folks. If you have a product that's backed by 1 or 2 PhDs, that's pretty awesome. But this little bottle here is backed by 9 PhDs, the technology behind this. And what we do is we basically make the particles of nutrition so small that we put it inside the water molecules.
That's water?
Yeah, so it's basically liquid water. And but it's packed with 90 vitamins, minerals, nootropics, primary adaptogens, electrolytes, as well as a 50-50 blend of CBD, CBG, 0 THC. So even people with former addictions, they have no worries taking this at all. But what it allows for is the direct cellular nutrition. Nobody else can deliver to the cells the way that we can, the way that this product does. So it gets it right to the cells. Whereas with any other nutritional, the digestive system has to get into it. With any other CBD product, the digestive system's going to have to get involved. We bypass the digestive system completely. And that nobody else is. The only other way to get that is with an IV or a shot. But we're doing it very simply, at a very economical price that people can afford. And we're going to change the world.
That was my next question, because I was like, it sound with those words in there, because we got a rule here, no words over 6 letters. Public school. Anyway, I better quit that. I'm gonna get hate mail from public school teachers. I'm just kidding, you guys. So it's water, though. It's clear. So
Yeah,
for the person out there sitting there going, because you guys remember when regular bottled water came out and we were like, I wish I would spend some money on some water. I can get it right out of the tap. Now I won't even go near a tap. So, okay, there's the water. So, but how do we know
what it looks like?
It's just water.
Yeah, it looks like water. Everything is encapsulated inside the water molecules.
I like how you poured it in a shot glass.
Yeah.
So do you drink a whole one of those?
You drink basically a capful. It's a teaspoon, roughly a teaspoon.
You don't down the whole thing?
Nope. Teaspoon. This will last. This is actually 36 servings, so it's just over a month's supply. You do a teaspoon. There's enough CBD, CBG, vitamins, minerals to go to every single one of your 40 million or trillion cells. The technology is just incredible. No, like I said, nobody else can do this, what we're doing.
And so to be honest now, when you let's say you were like us, never had it, and they said, here, guy, we want to beta test this with you. And they're looking at each other and you're like, well, what is it? And then they tell you what you just told us. And then as you're drinking it, they're like watching like, so what was the very first thing that, not that you were told, but that you felt where
clarity and focus
directly because of that product? What
clarity and focus? Undoubtedly, that was and we have a lot of people that have that response, but clarity and focus.
What was the difference?
Lifts the brain fog. All of a sudden you feel more focused on what you're doing. And where I noticed it was in the airplane. The very first time I got in the airplane after I started taking this, which was just a couple days, I was like, oh my God, everything is just flowing as it should be. I'm not having to, I don't know, it's just, boom, boom, boom. It was just very clear. There was no brain fog in there at all. That was the very first thing I noticed.
And how long
would be one of the other ones. And then people that have any kind of aches or discomfort, the very first thing they're going to know is a release of that.
How long? Oh, really? Aches or discomfort?
Yep.
How long have you been on the product?
Over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
We launched the company, or we started selling this in June of 2019. I actually started taking it in March. So I was on it for a couple months before we actually started marketing it.
And you are one of the top people in the company now. What is it that you would attribute the success of yourself with this product? What is it that people are telling you they love the most?
Well, for me, my success is because of the belief, because like you mentioned, I've known the owners of this company for 19 years. They got hearts of gold. They have been, they've been professional network marketers. They have gotten every reason that their empire, if you will, that what they worked so hard to build was deflated, was because of something that the company did. And so having their running this company, knowing that they're going to have our backs as independent representatives, is a very, very important part of why my belief is so high. And then using the product and noticing all the different changes that I noticed personally was phenomenal. And then as I started giving it out to my friends and having them try it, I had friends that are on hydrocodone, which is like prescribed heroin for their pain and their issues. And they were able to wean themselves off of hydrocodone. People off of opioids, friends of mine that were able to get off their opioids because it allowed them to get that relief from their pain, their discomfort. And then it just goes on from there. We all kinds of skin issues, because with the CBD, and I'll tell you, maybe not a lot of your viewers are familiar with CBD right now, but they're gonna be, because
I think
science and evidence that's coming out. The science and evidence that's coming out right now about the endocannabinoid system. We already produce CB1 and CB2. And the endocannabinoid system is now being said to be the master regulator of the body. Every other system is governed by the ECS.
So guys,
sorry.
You see this on the screen?
Yes.
I'm at the website. You see this?
That's one of the most powerful evidence of what our product does.
What are we looking at here?
That is a living blood test. So you're looking at your red blood cells. On the left side is a healthy individual, and what you're seeing is the clumping of the red blood cells. That is chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is truly the silent killer. It's what leads to strokes, heart attacks, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, all other kinds of health concerns. It's coming from chronic inflammation, and that's not me. That's public information.
Right.
And then the screen on the right side, the screenshot on the right side, that's 5 minutes after taking a shot of the swish.
Really?
Product. It's complete blood scattering. Doctors, when I show this to doctors, they can't believe that's not possible, because not within 5 minutes from an all-natural product. The only other way they could do that is through an IV.
How much is a 30-day supply of this?
Retail, this is $72.50, and they'll throw in a free spray for you. It's $25 free spray, $300 worth of free product every year if you're getting this every month, which you want to do. So
I'm gonna
company is amazing.
Show you.
So wait a minute, can you guys hear that?
Our product is
Yeah.
so incredibly
Look,
powerful.
let's take a look real
See,
quick.
this
It's
is a
only a
live
couple
process.
minutes, you
It's a
guys.
living blood analysis. What's going to happen is the technician is going to prick the person's finger. This is a healthy individual, by the way.
Where's that
Prick his
at?
finger, take a drop of blood, put it on.
It's gonna come up.
Okay.
Dark field microscope. Now, what you're about to see here is the result. Okay, these are individual red blood cells that are clumped together. And again, this is a healthy individual. I'm going to go ahead and
I find this
so
really
you can
interesting.
see it. And what you notice here is that they're not really moving around, right? Now, the technician who's been doing this for 15 years is explaining to this individual that this is pretty common. Some people come in a little worse. Some people come in a little bit different, or less than this chronic inflammation. But this is also what leads to strokes and heart attacks, and illness and diseases as we age in life. So this chronic inflammation is something we definitely want to have under control. Now, what's going to happen here is this individual is going to take one capful, that's 1 teaspoon of this swish, which is not only CBD and CBG, it also has 90 vitamins, minerals.
90 vitamins?
Yep. It's got all 54 trace and macro minerals as well, which is so important for cell development.
Just 7 nanometers. And what that allows for is direct cellular.
Now this is FDA approved?
It is. We are current good manufacturing practices compliant, which means that what's on our labels, what's in the bottle, that is an FDA program. The FDA does not approve nutritionals, so no.
Okay.
Waits a minute for the absorption to happen, and then they hack the clock, and 5 minutes later, they prick his finger again, take another blood sample, put it under the slide, back under the microscope, and this is the result. Complete and 100% blood scattering in just 5 minutes. The technician, as I mentioned, been doing this 15 years.
So, Guy, what is they just said happens in 5 minutes? What's that called?
Blood scattering.
And what does that mean?
Breaking up the inflammation. So inflammation is what leads to a lot of challenges that we have. It's really important to try to break that up and reduce the amount of inflammation. A lot of it's because of the foods that we're eating right now, the processed foods especially, is really bad towards inflammation. So you can usually see a person when they're really inflamed, their body in general is inflamed. But even like when you get an injury or something like that, that's also going to have a lot of inflammation around it. And the importance for healing is getting the blood flowing. I'm sitting here right now with a broken knee. I broke my knee skiing 5 weeks ago. And I've been doing this 2 to 3 times. And the physical therapist cannot believe the rapid increase in my recovery time. It's way ahead of schedule. I have my follow-up with my surgeon on Tuesday, but yeah, so it really it gets the blood flowing, allows the body to do what it needs, and it can allow it to fix itself from the inside.
So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to trust you on this one. And you guys, I am going to order the 30-day supply right now as soon as we're finished. And I'm going to start on it next week.
All right.
We're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it with them as I know the differences or not, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to do that. And then you guys, I'm going to let you know exactly what it does. So Guy, why the big shift? Do you miss the friendly skies?
I do, but I'll tell you what, it's hard on the body. That job is very hard on the body. One of the things is it really messes with your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle. And
Oh,
at one time, a long time ago, I was diagnosed with 3 different types of insomnia. So I can relate to people that don't sleep at night. And then when I started flying with the airlines, I was kind of having that issue again. And as soon as I got on this product, that issue went completely away. I sleep sound every night, but it's just the environment is really hard on the body. We've started having really good success with this because the product works. People stay on it, so there's a lot of residual income that comes in from it. And we made the decision we're big time skiers. We love skiing. So we made the decision to leave Phoenix, Arizona, come up here to Colorado. We're at Keystone, Colorado, ski
how
resort,
you like
right
that?
next to the ski resort. Absolutely beautiful, as you mentioned earlier. And in that process, we're looking at our finances going, man, we're making quite a bit of money through our business now. And this commute for me to go fly is going to be really extra hard on my body because it's going to be hours of driving and flying and everything else. And Southwest was also offering, because of COVID, was offering an early retirement package for some of the more senior pilots. And I fell into that category. And we decided that we had enough income coming in from Sealy that we could take that and support ourselves. And it's been the best decision ever. I do miss the flying. I have a goal, a certain target that I want to get on a monthly basis with my income from Sealy. When I hit that, I'm going to start flying again. There's a plane out here that I'm going to start renting and flying.
Oh, quit playing. You know you're gonna buy that truck. I'm trying to be all modest. So, how many of your family members use the product?
All of them. My mom is 91. She had that dry, flaky skin that gets all over the older people's clothes and stuff. Completely gone within a month. She couldn't open and close her fingers very well. She's got total movement, no problems. She used to clean.
Is that arthritis?
If I'm not allowed to say a name.
Okay, yeah. See,
medical claims, so the government comes down on us really hard if we say, because of.
Right. Okay.
And she had some other issues. My sister has noticed great improvements. My one niece has all sorts of autoimmune diseases. The other one has other issues. Her boyfriend has issues. My daughter got off all her anxiety medications. My grandson got off of all his anger and anxiety medications, if you will.
That's what I'm on, anxiety.
Yeah. So yeah, all my family members are on it.
Okay. All right. And one other thing here about that. What about children under the age of 12?
Yep. The youngest that I know of, I had a lady that was a 4-year-old autistic boy, and she goes, "Do you think this would help him?" I said, "There's only one way to find out." So we started him on very small amounts, worked him up to a capful, and within 3 days, he was a completely different kid. And after being on the product for about a month or two, she was able to wean him off all his medications. And then she ran out of the Swish, didn't reorder it. And all those issues started coming back, had to get him back on the medication because I am never taking him off this product again. Got him back on, got him back off the medications. And he's still got his autistic challenges, but he's not having the anxiousness and all the other stuff that goes with it. And then my grandson was 6 years old when he started, and he was able to get off his medications within a month. Perfect.
I love it. I'm going to get over. And the website, which I am now putting on the screen.
No,
that's the Gmail. I found it here. No, that's Gmail.
I'm going to give you this one.
Okay. But you have it on this website.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just over there. So we can find it there. And you have another spot?
Yeah, SealyGuy.com.
Is that you?
Yeah.
You're Sealy Guy?
I'm Sealy Guy.
Okay. All right. What is the thing in your life? What would you say brings you the greatest joy today, Thursday? What is the greatest joy in your world? What brings you the greatest joy, Guy? Here's that new one, you guys.
They can also get a free sample from the one that I put on. This is a free sample. It's a 3-day supply. It's enough for them to at least experience what it's like.
Oh, before ordering the major one?
That's tasteless. And if they go to that site, they just pay $5 for shipping and handling, and I'll get them this free sample in the mail.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the free sample and then order the other.
There you go.
You guys, how many people are in? Somebody put it in the chat. Put it in if you're going to do it with me. Let's try it. We can compare notes. Get the free sample.
So what's got me excited? What gets me excited?
Yeah, where's your joy coming from nowadays?
It goes back to my book. And I share my story of how I got into all this and how I started this journey, but I was lost. And I once I left the military, when I was in the military, people would ask me, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm an F-16 pilot. I'm a fighter pilot. I said, it's not what I do, it's who I am. And it became my identity. And when I left the military and several years into the airline industry, I was like, I didn't feel like I had a purpose anymore in life. And I started getting a little lost. And this journey brought me back in tune with myself, fell in love with myself. So what gets me excited today is that I'm alive. I know who I am. I know I love life. I'm very attached to God. And I just appreciate everything that's around me. I live in gratitude 24/7.
I can tell.
If something bad happens to me, I look at the bright side. Like I broke my knee. I mean, I lost the last month of skiing and I'm hitting her hobbling around. My wife is over in Germany because her sister just passed. She just transitioned from cancer. So I'm doing with all this on my own and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, but I'm happy. I'm excited. I got the inner joy. So I see the happiness all around me. I track that happiness into my life every single moment of every single day.
So you'd say you're living a valued life.
Absolutely. Ding, ding, ding.
Right. Oh, there. See, he's already hooked on the bell, y'all. Told you. So I just love it. I love it. And I'm serious. I'm going to the free sample. I'm going there. You guys, I don't care if anybody comes with me or not. I'm going because you know why? When you're living within your purpose, and I feel exactly like you, Guy, and I want to get every single drop out of the opportunity towel known as 24 hours every day. Every day. I believe I can be happy in my sleep and even raise the level in there of how I dream, how I rest, how I wake up from that rest, how I transition into that rest. All of it from the rooter to the tutor. That's how I feel. And I'm always looking for this. And I'm gonna just tell you this, the reason I don't just put any old thing in my body. I really don't. And I mean, because clearly, as you can see, it is quite the body. Right. So, bodybuilder. Well, I'm 59 in a couple months, and I want to. It took me 40 years to understand the beauty of truly living, and so with more life most likely behind me, because I doubt if I'm gonna be 100 and something, 118. I want to experience all that there is. Through the creator and through me for the world. I don't want to miss any. And so I'm doing this because you're a believer and I know, and I can just feel it and I can tell that I can trust what you're saying. And so I want to know about it. And I feel something, you guys, I really feel there's something here. I'll let you know, let me be the guinea pig. If that's how it has to be, that's how it has to be. So Guy, any closing words? What would you like to leave the viewers with today? If they were to forget everything we've talked about here today, except for one thing, what would you hope that one thing that they would retain? What would it be? You're special. You have a gift that nobody else has. You're unique. Find that unique gift within you and let us all share in it. Spread it with the world. I love it. You're born in love, and just find it again. And my book can really help you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And there it is on the screen. You can start there, or you can use any of the others of the connectors that Guy has provided this morning, and I'll keep those in rotation as the show closer plays. So I will also come back after we close the broadcast and drop each of those inside the comments for your future use. If you're watching live or on the replay, we want to say thank you so much. I'll be back Monday with a new guest, a new week, a new show. Remember, this year our theme is Show Me Your Soul, and I promise I'll show you mine. We've done it today. The promise has been fulfilled yet again. And what is it? Where two or more of us come together. It doesn't say something could, would, should, might, perhaps will happen wonderfully. It is a promise. And look, it's happened again. Listen, Guy, get out there. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a beautiful weekend. Say hello to your wife over there and pass along our condolences for the loss of her sister. And you're welcome back anytime. We'd love to have you. So if you have anything new you want to share, just get at me. We'll get you back in. Sounds great. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys get out there, be the blessing you want to see in the world. And I'll see you at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Central Standard Time, out front on the front porch for our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see